Millennials, the next greatest generation, or a great pain in the ass? Not since the baby boomers launched out of the 60s has such a generation captivated culture like a polarizing comet. Older critics say these damn kids, born between roughly 1980 and 2000, are needy, lazy do-nothings who have been coddled to the point of uselessness. Fresher experts see these whippersnappers using technology and drive to craft themselves into well-branded post-partisan powerhouses. I say, enough of the speculating. Let's talk to some of these bastards. This is The Independence, the Millennial Edition. Hey there, I'm Kennedy. My partners in crime, Matt Welch and Camille Foster, are going to join me a little later. And together we are The Independents, and we are pretty awesome. Since this is a special show, we wanted to make room for an extended party panel of poignant voices. So here are the Millennials for tonight. Josh Nass is the founder and chairman of Voices of Conservative Youth. Jill Filipovich is a blogger for Feminista, which is very sexy, and you should go there. Sebastian Ray is the director of the Film Lone Prophet and founder of the 30 Under 30 Film Festival. And Andrew Carell, editor-in-chief of Mediaite. He's freshly scrubbed, and this is a group of Generation Nexters. You're all sexy and amazing. Or are you a bunch of lazy basement dwellers? What are millennials?
I think we're pretty sexy.
Well said, Josh Nass.
I think so, right? Look, young people are a different type of generation, right? We use digital platforms, social media platforms, and frankly, we're not as engaged and interested in being a part of the political process. I think what both parties fail to understand is that they have to start using digital and social media platforms in order to get us involved.
All right, so Andrew Carell, let me ask you. Do you consider yourself beholden to either of the two major parties? Have you gone one way or another based on technology, the economy, or being part of a post-9/11 generation?
I think one of the interesting things about our generation, although I hate to group everybody together, is that if you look at polling, it seems like this generation is very friendly. You know, people born from 1980 to 2000 generally have this sort of tendency towards libertarian ideas and this rejection of the two major parties as sort of stodgy old relics of post, you know, like of baby boomer politics, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of, we see that as those two parties have led us into a lot of the problems we have now, overcriminalization, two massive wars, a whole bunch of other problems, and we see that as we want to shrug that. We want to get rid of that.
All right, so let's take a look at the generational breakdown. Millennials, of course, we're saying are born between 1980 and 2000, and there you go, Gen Xers sandwiched in between two exciting generations, millennials and baby boomers, and there's Gen Xers just stinking up the joint. All right, so the way I see it, it is technology. It is a bad economy. It is the post-9/11 world. What do you think is, of those three, and of course you can lump any others in there, what's the most defining for you, Jill?
I would say definitely technology. The way that we communicate now, the way that we make friendships, the way we date, the way we stay in touch with our families, so much of that is happening online. And I think one thing that older generations kind of fail to appreciate is that our online lives are as much our real lives as their in-person lives were 20 or 30 or 40 years ago.
They think because of that you're disconnected, though. I mean,
exactly.
that's one of the cultural criticisms that this generation gets, is everyone always has their nose in a smartphone and they don't know how to make human contact. What do you say to that?
I think that's actually the opposite of what's going on. I think one thing that's so incredible about the technology that we're using today is that we're able to make connections across gaps that were previously completely unbridgeable. I mean, I run a feminist website, and we have commenters and community members that are from all over the world that are doing feminist actions in their home countries. You know, they're not just women that live on your block or that live in your neighborhood. There's such a plethora of individuals that are communicating via Twitter, via Facebook, in, you know, internet chats, on Reddit, wherever, that you can really have these great, expansive, and diverse conversations that weren't possible a generation or two ago.
Okay, now, I mean, I've sort of broken it down into three areas, Sebastian, but you see immigration as being a defining element of this generation. Am I missing that when I talk about the bad economy, post-9/11, and technology? Do you think immigration is as important?
Yes, I think immigration is very important in this generation because especially after Obama passed the DACA Act, which allows undocumented students to stay in the United States and find work and eventually integrate into the economy.
All right. So, and you're really the only one here because, you know, we're talking about post-partisanism, talking about feminism. You're the only one who will really define yourself as a conservative. Does that mean that you are beholden to the Republican Party?
I think the Republican Party has screwed up more than anything and anybody over the course of the last few years. And that's a large part of our group and what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the way young people perceive the Republican Party. But back to the libertarian question, I do call myself a conservative, but I'm for marriage equality. And I'm proudly a conservative.
Oh, I thought you were saying marijuana equality, but you're for marriage equality. But you could combine the two. That'd be so clever. Okay, go ahead, Josh.
I'm for marriage equality because I think it's a conservative position. In my view, marriage is a conservative value, and there's no reason why conservatives should not endorse and allow gays to marry just as straight people are.
All right, do you think that's political convenience, or do you think the Republican Party will really morph into something more inclusive that supports marriage equality and maybe even refining drug laws? If so, Andrew Carell, would you become a card-carrying Republican Party member?
No, because party mentality to me is just sort of destructive. But I think it is convenient until maybe a couple of years from now, when some of our people start to get into higher positions. Some people maybe who were born in 1980 in the earlier part of the millennial spectrum start to get into office. But I just don't see the Republican Party embracing these sort of young ideas because I think they are stuck in their ways, just like the Democrats are too.
And it really is. I mean, we're seeing an interesting time because this show is called The Independents. I mean, we like to think that people are so fed up with the system that they're going either, statist and progressive, or, we hope libertarian, that the people are more involved in their own lives, their own decisions. Sebastian, do you see it? Do you consider yourself to be one of those two? Are you independent? Are you progressive or libertarian?
I would say I'm a liberal. I believe that everybody should have equal rights, and I believe that everybody should have the opportunity to achieve those rights.
I'd like to see you and Andrew wrestle shirtless because I think you guys fundamentally disagree, and not in a partisan way, which is it's not a bad thing. But progressives versus libertarians, I mean, that is the evolution of the political argument, is it not? And
it's an interesting thing, too, because a lot of millennials, I would say, generally speaking, because I'm a millennial skeptic, I don't think we should group people together.
You're a skeptic.
I'm a skeptic of everything, yeah. But one of the interesting things about our group is that we all generally tend to have these sort of libertarian ideas about social, about equality, about the idea that, gays should be allowed to marry. We should be able to put whatever drugs we want in our body.
I want to be able to marry gay people.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Personally, you would, yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm married to a heterosexual man, which is going to make my life super interesting. We'll figure all that. We're going to have you guys stick around. Going to go through some topics and have you comment on it and a little later on in the show. So you can't have a show about millennials without touching on generational theft. Is it setting up a generational war? Go grab Grandma. She's going to want to see this. All right? It's The Independents. Stay with us.
A safer America? How will changes impact the U.S. surveillance program? Ralph Peters on the next stops. Then, it's sick. New Obamacare glitches have patients scrambling. One business owner's nightmarish story on Cavuto. Details in our Powerful Prime Monday.
Welcome back. How is everything?
There's nothing like being your own boss. And my customers are really liking your flat rate shipping.
FedEx One rate.
Really makes my life easier.
Maybe a promotion is in order.